Right, boys. We were just sat here having a little conversation, having a cigar, having a coffee. We just thought we'd whack the camera out, have a little conversation and talk about finances and money, something that I know a lot of young lads struggle with, something we struggle with massively growing up. And we want to talk a little bit about a few topics here and hope you boys get some value out of it. So, something we found a lot of lads at the moment, or young men, are struggling with is being in a financial rut. And this is something that Lewis and I have both really found ourselves in and struggled with massively. We thought we'd share a little bit about our story and kind of what we did to get out of it, and hopefully provide some value to you boys so you can help yourself get out of it as well. But yeah, so financial rut, mate, where did you start?
Yeah, so, right, going back to probably 2024, I was 15k in debt and I was in a very, very bad position. Basically, when I was 18, 19, for some reason they give you access to credit cards, which I don't fucking, honestly, it's beyond me why. But yeah, basically, they gave me a load of credit cards. I maxed them out, as you do, because I was constantly going like out on nights out, going to different places, going on Magaluf and shit like that, constantly spending money. And before I knew it, I got into a position where I was basically like 15 grand in debt, and I was like, whoa, how the fuck did I get here? So yeah, really, really bad financial position, but now I'm in a position where I'm on the other side, and yeah, it's honestly completely different ball game, guys, and I'm in it, so, yeah, honestly, quality of life now, the fact that I haven't got that weighing over my head, and I know for a lot of you guys, you might be in debt, you might be living paycheck to paycheck or struggling, and by no means are we any financial gurus.
No.
But we just want to basically give you guys some value in what we've learned across the time of obviously leveling up our finances, getting out of that financial rut and going from there. But obviously you went to uni.
Yeah, so I went to uni, boys. Got in the vicious cycle of the overdraft cycle, I like to call it, the student overdraft. Vicious thing, vicious. Seems like a lovely idea when you're a student because it's like free money, but it's not. So yeah, I went to uni with about £10,000 saved up prior from working. I worked full-time for 2 years prior to going, and this is like COVID era as well, so I was being furloughed and had no outgoings. Went to uni, blew 10 grand in a year, happens, and then introduced into my life was the student overdraft, and this oh god, this fucking man. So I was in and out of this the whole time of uni. Student loan comes in, get paid from work, boom, on rent, drinks, blah blah blah, back in again, and I just got stuck in this vicious cycle, and it spat me out of uni, threw me out, and I had a 5k maxed out overdraft, near like a 5k maxed out credit card, and I looked at my situation and I was like, this ain't good. So how did we get out of this? What can you do? What steps can you take to get yourself out of financial run? I think the most important thing that I want to say first and foremost is recognizing it, actually come to terms that you are fucked, and that's okay, because I say 90% of people I know that have gone through life, so everyone has gone through a difficulty with finances, right?
Yeah.
And the first and most important thing is do not be scared of it. Accept it's happened. Don't pretend it's not there, because the longer you let it fester, the worse it's going to get. Actually accept it's there and do something about it, and realise the only way out of that situation is through it. You can't avoid it. You have to tackle it head on.
Yeah, you realise you've got time on your hands, guys. Like, you've got the time to sort your shit out. Like, if you're getting later on in life, like, and obviously our target is young men, right? That's obviously, we are young men ourselves, and that is who we are speaking to. But if you are a young man, you have time on your hands. So the first thing you want to do is get a financial plan together, okay? So you've now realised you're in a fucked position. You might be living paycheck to paycheck, a car payment's just come up and you can't pay it, or some big things happen, you're like, fuck, I need to sort my shit out. So all you've got to do is basically put a financial plan together, okay? So step one is you've got to go through your bank statements, go through your finances, and actually analyse what you are spending. What are your expenses? What is your income? And put, almost like a business, put a financial plan together and see where you can get yourself out of. So with a financial plan, right, and I was actually talking to a client the other day who basically thought he wasn't spending a lot of money, right, but he was in a bad financial position. And we went through basically his finances and the position he was in, and I was like, okay, let's go through it. You know what, let's see what you're spending. And he basically swore that he hadn't had any expenses, or he wasn't spending more than he thought he should be. It turns out he was actually spending about £270 to £280 a month on Domino's, on Greggs, on drinks and spoons, and he basically was like, he needed that slap around the face. Almost every lad needs that slap around the face to be like, look, this is what you are spending all this fucking money on, and every man needs it, and you almost need that realization so you can pull yourself out of it. So the first step, get a financial plan. So go through all of your expenses, right? And what you want to do is cut it down to what you actually need, right? Not the buying the designer clothes, not going out every single weekend, not going on holidays, any of that stuff, right? If you want to get out of this painful, hard position you are in right now, you need to make sacrifices to get out ahead in life, because if you continue to do this, you will be 40, 50, 60, still living paycheck to paycheck, not being able to take care of your family, not being able to take care of your friends, have the best experiences the world has to offer, and you do not want to be in that position. So first step, get a financial plan.
And live below your means.
Yeah.
Like, cut out everything, like Lewis said, cut out everything you don't need. Like, boys, if you still got subscriptions to things you don't use anymore, or things you don't really even need, get rid of them, and actually start living below your means. Like, it's crazy how quickly you can accumulate money on something when you don't see it. Like, you think a meal deal is cheap because it's like £3, right? But then you do that every day, that's £21 a week, that's an extra £80 to £100 a month you're spending on meal deals, because you can't be bothered to prep some food with you and go to work and save you the money.
Yeah.
So start realising how much you actually are spending. Don't be afraid of it, accept it. First part is acceptance, like we spoke about, and then actually live below your means and start budgeting and saving, and start building your wealth up and start getting yourself out of debt if you are in debt, and putting some money behind you, start building up an emergency fund.
Yeah.
So that's the most important thing you can do, is actually realise you're in a situation and then start doing things about it.
Yeah.
So on from that, how can you generate more capital? How can you actually build more wealth and bring more income, right? So you've budgeted, you're saving, you're living below your means. What can you do next? Well, the most obvious one is work more. Actually start doing more. Just because you're working 40 hours a week, a full-time job, doesn't mean you can't do more work. Doesn't mean you might have to sacrifice a little bit of social time. Yes, but do you want to sort yourself out or not? Like, you're in your 20s, you're the most capable and able and fit you should be ever in your life. So work more. Work a bit more than your outside job. Ask for more overtime hours. Get a second job. We've both done it. I've worked 2-3 jobs for pretty much 2 years straight.
Yeah.
I did it because I knew I was in a shit situation. I had to get myself out. And instead of just living paycheck to paycheck for the rest of my life, like you said,
Yeah.
I actually did something about it and sorted myself out.
Yeah, yeah.
So work more.
Yeah, you've got to put in the work, guys. Like, it's not going to come to you just naturally and like by some miracle, right? You can't be expected for family members to bail you out, friends to bail you out, and be like, oh, I need more money, can you help me out? No. You need to take this situation you're in into your own hands, right? As a man, you need to sort your shit out, okay? So the first step is obviously level up your income, okay? So you can either do this by getting a better job. Now, you can do this by making sure, I mean, it depends. Obviously, Aaron's had a bad experience with uni, but that's not to say that uni is a write-off completely. Obviously, we know a lot of people who have done very well at uni and get a very good paying career, okay? So either doing that, or you can go down the direction of starting a business, being self-employed, learning a skill. The main thing you want to focus on is creating value. That is the most important thing. And once you create value, so many opportunities are going to be coming your way. And the world is going to present you with so much abundance, so much money, so much many more opportunities, right? Because you have a valuable skill. So make sure you get a skill to start off with, right? For me, for example, I was straight out of sixth form, right? My first year I did it, I realised it wasn't for me. I went straight into labouring, okay, working in construction, learning what I could, right? And I wasn't getting paid much at the time, which didn't seem, but I was making much more than the people who were in sixth form, as well as people who were at uni and were actually losing money because they were obviously spending money on the education. And what happened was, as I was doing the labouring and as I was working in construction, I started levelling up, I started getting paid more because I started becoming more valuable, I started obtaining more skills because I was doing more carpentry, and as I started going on, I started making more and more money. So obviously I found out that it wasn't for me, but the point is, make sure you get some skill of some description so you can create value, and then money will come to you, basically.
Yeah, 100%. So I think definitely in terms of next steps of generating more wealth and more income, it's just working more, first of all, whether that's, like you said, getting a high paying job, or looking at other things, right? So you look at other avenues to explore, look at starting a side business, a side hustle, as it's called nowadays. And this could be literally just something you're passionate about, something you genuinely enjoy, something that you have a lot of passion for, that you can learn more about, and then learn and then teach other people or help other people, right? So for us, it was fitness. We've been training for well over 10 years, 12 years, and we decided, you know what, we've seen how much benefit we've had from fit health and fitness and improving our physiques and our mindset. How can we help other people do the same? Hence why we now started Genesis and what we do now. So it's just a case of learning more about our passion and becoming a craftsman at it, right?
Yeah.
Then once we learn it, do it for free for a while, teach other people, and once we start getting some good results and we know we can do it for other people, not just for ourselves, then start charging for it. Start supply and demand. People want it, you start charging for it, and then start generating wealth that way.
Yeah. The best way to start making more money is look at what you're passionate at or what you're good at. Okay, so for us, like for me, basically, I started out whilst I was working in construction. I started out doing like day trading and doing different side hustles, and along the way trying to figure out what was going to be the best for me. And I spent years trying to figure out. Basically, I failed at all of it. Okay, and obviously failure is part of the process, but I finally got to a point where I was like, well, hang on a second. For all these years, I've been not only coaching my friends for free, I've been helping family members get in shape as well. All these skills I've learned across the years from all the countless number of articles and information that I've had, the YouTube videos, the people I've met, like all the information that I gathered over the years, why don't I use this basically to create some value to help other people do that, and maybe I can monetize it. But obviously to start off with, don't think about monetizing it. It's going to take a bit of time.
You've got to learn. You've got to learn before you earn.
Exactly. You've got to learn before you earn. So get the experience first, and obviously getting experience is the hardest thing. It's going to be slow to start off with, but it's going to be the best thing for you. And once you gain that experience, then you can level up. You can invest in yourself. You can invest in your knowledge, which is the main thing. Like we've invested in countless courses, books, mentors, coaches, all sorts, right, which have helped us get to the position we are in now. Okay, so make sure you look inward. What's your passion? What can you be good at? And then start really investing in yourself, and that is going to help you level up that income.
I think realise as well that it's not necessarily hard to do. I think anybody can start a business, a side hustle, develop a skill, whatever. It's not necessarily hard because anyone can do anything. It just requires a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's like, how much are you prepared to give up for it? Are you willing to stop going to the nights out every weekend? Are you willing to stop going on dates all the time with your missus or whatever it is? You have to be willing to work relentlessly. And once you start doing that and you start trading off those instant dopamine releasing activities for your work and your efforts in that, you will start to reap a much more of a better reward from that.
Yeah, 100%. That's it. You've got to really live below your means before you can get out ahead. Like that is the main thing. Like no buying all this designer shit. No, like you have got to cut it off at a certain point. And at the end of the day, if anyone says to you, right, we want to be going out or whatever, and you say no, look, I'm trying to get myself ahead in life. I need to sort my shit out before I can actually start enjoying it. And if they continuously say, oh, well, okay, well, that's weird, like, or try to judge you, or aren't positive and supporting for you, then you probably shouldn't have them in your life. Same goes with girls and stuff like that. Like, if they aren't going to be positive in your life, like, and they aren't saying, oh, like, I can't take you out to this date, or we can't go and do all these fun, extravagant things, then they're probably not going to be the right person for you. Like, you want that cheerleader, you want people who are going to support you as well. So, making sure that you live below your means, making sure that you cut out all the bullshit, take that 1 year, take that 2 years to sacrifice, to get out ahead, and then you can actually breathe. Because I know for a lot of you, you will be struggling right now and you'll be living paycheck to paycheck, and you will have that constant stress and that constant feeling in the back of your head like, oh shit, if my car breaks down or if something goes wrong this month, I am fucked. I'm going to have to ask my parents for money, I'm going to have to ask someone, or I'm going to have to try and sort something out. You do not want to be in that position, right? So make sure you get out ahead. So obviously, leveling up the income, right, is a starting thing. Finding side hustles, finding stuff that you can do. There's a million ways to make £1 million out there, right? So like we talked about, getting that business sorted, whatever that passion is. Then, right, once you've actually accumulated the wealth, then getting onto the investment side of things and actually making your money work for you.
So that's all you can do with your money, boys. I think I was always drilled upon, when I was growing up, my parents, it was very much save, and just keep money in a bank account in case you need it and don't put it anywhere else, which is fine, and that's what most people do. And I think it is good to have money or cash in a bank account in case you need it. I think you do need an emergency fund. I think any good investor, financial guru will tell you to have an emergency fund, normally 3 to 6 months worth of savings or essentials, right? So that's important. But once you've kind of done that, you can actually put your money in other places to work for you, right? And it's crazy, and this is something that's still quite new to me, something we're learning a lot about, and it's actually a book you recommended to me called Rich Dad Poor Dad. If you haven't read it before or listened to it on Audible, go and do that after this, so I promise you it will change your perception and it will make you so much more financially literate, because it did for me. So you can start putting your money in the right places, right? Things like investments, long-term stocks and shares, ISAs, anything like that, and it's going to yield you so much more of a better return, because essentially what most people do at the moment, what you're probably doing, is working for your money, right? And what I mean by that is money is just stored time and energy, right? So your time and energy is what gets you your money currently.
Yeah.
But you can actually start to accumulate your wealth and put it into different places, different investments, and you can get more reward from that. It doesn't even need to be like a financial investment in terms of like a stock or a share or something like that, or a long-term investment. It can actually be an investment into yourself as well, because an investment into yourself will quite often generate probably the best return investment, because you can learn more skills to then acquire more money.
100%, that's it. So to start off with, you, like Aaron said earlier, you will have to work more, right? You will have to work more hours, right? You have to do pretty long hours, like even so we're still doing very, very long hours of work. But as soon as you've got to that point, right, and you've accumulated the money, okay, then you need to start making your money work for you, because the problem is you don't want to be working 80-hour weeks every single fucking day for the rest of your life, basically, because obviously that's no fun. You can't enjoy life, right? And that is what will happen if you just focus on one income, right? So you need to have that diversification. You need to have the money set aside, put that into investments, and let that money work for you. So you can do it by, to start off with, right, just for the basics, get a stocks and shares ISA. Get something that's easy to invest in, right? You can, there's so many different apps out there that you can basically use. Plum, Trading 212, stuff like that, right? Very easy for you to put a bit of money in there, let your money work for you, right? Okay, and you can start to see that compound, you can start to see that money work for you, okay? So obviously a lot of people are going to say invest in property, and don't get me wrong, I have nothing against property investments, but for the majority of people, and what modern, basically, people young like us are told, is getting a mortgage is the best thing to do, right? It's the best investment, right? But the main thing you've got to realise, and this is actually in Rich Dad Poor Dad, if it's an asset, it's putting money in your pocket. If it's a liability, it's taking money out of your pocket, okay? So if you have a property, but you're paying a mortgage, you're also paying for maintenance, and it's not actually earning you any money, then it's not an asset, it's a liability, it's weighing you down, okay? If you were to rent out the property, for example, to people who are paying that, and then you can use that money to then pay for your lifestyle, that is an asset, because it's basically generating you income. So first off, realise the difference between an asset and a liability. An asset is putting money in your pocket, liability taking money out of your pocket, okay? And then as soon as we get into that, you have obviously got into investments. You might want to start obviously the business and get that side of things. But yeah.
Yeah, so I think there's many different avenues you can explore generating more wealth, right? You can look at a side hustle, you can start a business, you can look at long-term investments. There's many different things you can do once you get yourself out of that initial financial rut, if you are in one. But the most important thing is you have to be willing to put in the effort, and this is where it comes down to the mindset, right? And what does it take to be great? What does it take to develop a good mindset and be able to grow in any aspect in life, whether it's finances, in relationships, in work, whatever it is, right? It comes down to mindset. You have to be bulletproof. And I firmly believe, in fact I don't believe, I know, that your success within business or generating more wealth or income or anything is directly correlated to your ability to tolerate stress. If you can tolerate stress and you can put up with the shit and the hard times, you're likely to be very successful in what you do. Yeah. So you have to be willing to put up with the stress, the hard times, and work countless hours, okay? You cannot be phased by it. You have to be willing to invest in yourself, take risks, and work your ass off.
Yeah, that's the main thing, guys. It's not going to come easy. It really isn't, and you've got to realise that it's going to be fucking hard. But not only, obviously, are you going to be in a better financial position yourself, but also you're going to be a better man from going through that hard period of time, right? You are going to come out the end of it, and you're going to learn so many lessons along the way and realise, and almost like every single hurdle you face in life, if you are starting out with finances, that is one hurdle you have to overcome, you have to jump over, but it basically, your tolerance for stress builds up, and then you can go on to the bigger hurdles, right? Obviously, we preach fitness. It started out like that for us, okay? We started getting into fitness, and we obviously practice that delayed gratification and going for that sort of long term. We're not doing a very good job here. Yeah. But going for that sort of long term struggle, right? And you get the reward at the end. Okay. The same goes with like finances and anything you're doing. You've got to learn that it's going to be tough, but the reward is at the end, and obviously you just keep going and going and going.
100%, but what it comes down to is the most important thing for you to take away from this video is your mindset. It has to start with your mindset, because if you don't have a mindset, if you are negative towards money at the moment, if you think, like I had the mindset, right, it's a very bad self-limiting belief, and I just was convinced that I'm not cut out to being rich. I'll leave that to them. That's their sort of thing, not for me. And I had this self-limiting belief, and as soon as I cut that out and I realised anything is possible if you put your mind to it, and if you're willing to work enough, you get rid of that limiting belief and you can achieve anything, and you attract what you are, right? You literally think things into reality. So if you think that you have this barrier against making money, whatever it is, then you're not going to make any money. You have to have a strong mindset. You have to believe that anything is possible. Because if you don't have that mindset, you're not going to get anywhere, right? You attract what you are. You literally sculpt your own reality around you based on what you think, what you do. So you have to start doing the things that people who are rich do, or say you want a good physique. You want to start doing the things that people who have a good physique do. Eating better, start better habits. It's all starts with your mind, your perception of reality, and then your actions.
Yeah, get excited about it, guys. Like, the thing is with money, right, you've got to have this abundance mindset, because money obviously buys you access to all the good things in life, like all these experiences, taking care of your family, taking care of your friends, also buying almost like the flashy stuff. Obviously it's not all about that, but also getting the stuff that you like a nice car, a nice watch, buying nice clothes, just enjoying the best life has to offer, right? So you've got to have that mindset, and you've got to realise, oh yeah, okay, my money's growing, or I put this in an investment that's making me more money. Get excited about it. Don't be like, oh, okay, like this guy has money, like he's probably like some scammer, or he's probably like, never be negative about it, because you're not going to attract more money. And also with money, it is like water. You've got to let it flow. You can't just keep holding on to it and hope that someday it grows or do anything like that. You have got to share it. You have got to let go of it. Invest in yourself. Give it to other people who are going to give you more value. Then it's going to come back in some way or another, okay? So make sure that you are actually putting money out there, and I can assure you, if you do, it will come back to you in some way or another.
100%. I think the last point to touch on that is change your environment. If you're in a shit environment, change your environment if you can. If you can't change your physical environment, change your online environment. Start speaking to people, being around people who are doing better in every aspect of life, financially and every other metric, right? Like, you are a product of your environment. We are literally what we see and what we do every day. So the people you talk to, people you interact with, you are the average of those people. Yeah. So just think about those people in your circle right now that you talk to in real life, online. You are those people. You are just a merge of those individuals, right? So if you want to be the best sprinter in the world, you run with the fastest people. If you want to be the biggest bodybuilder in the world, you're probably going to train with the best bodybuilders and the best coaches. You need to be in an environment where people are just on a similar wavelength, a similar mindset, who are destined to do great things, because you are a product of your environment. You need to be in a good environment in order to grow.
Yeah, 100%. That's it, guys. Like, even Aaron, touch on what Aaron said, right? On social media, okay, cut out the bullshit. If people are basically always on your feed, who are going out on the weekends, constantly spending money, people who you know are in debt themselves and are in a bad financial position, do not fucking have that on your feed constantly, because you're going to think it's actually acceptable. It's not. Follow people who are making so much money, right? You're like, whoa, and it really opens your eyes. Like, for us, for example, right, we're in Marbella, okay? We absolutely love it here, because we will go out and we will see hurricanes, we will see people wearing like literally 100 grand watches, even in the gyms, right? We went to the gym today and we literally saw like that black Lamborghini parked outside, and Porsches and everything. There's so much abundance out there, but you need to change your environment, whether that is online, in real life, whatever it may be, right? You need to change your environment to start off with.
So with that being said, boys, if you want to learn more about this, if you want to create a new environment, if you want to be a part of people who are like-minded, who share that vision, if you feel you're a little bit different to the people around you currently, and you know you've got a bit more in you, you're meant for just a bit more than the normal life, then hit us up in the description below. You've got both our Instagrams. You want to drop us a message. Your DM's open at any single point, or you've got a link to apply for Genesis, a group of young, like-minded men, all striving to become the best they possibly can, right through their physical health, their financial ability, their emotional capabilities, every single metric. This is what this is for. We will coach you through everything we have learned into becoming the best version of yourself.
Yeah, we can't stress the importance of how valuable this service is. This is something that we wish that we had when we were young men starting out, because before we got into that financial rut, before we got into basically fitness and wasting years of trying to figure out ourselves what to actually do, because we spent years and years trying to figure out, looking through all the articles, and there's so much bullshit out there. You have the very best information that we've learned across our basically combined 2 decades of experience So make sure you get in there. You're also going to network with people who are going to be in similar fields to you, who are going to help you level up your finances as well, level up your life, level up your fitness, level up your mindset. Every single metric you could want to level up in your life as a man is going to be in some way, shape or form inside of Genesis. So make sure you get in there, make sure you take action.
Get in touch, boys. Links in the description below. We'll see you on the other side.